Why, hello there everyone, I'm the Kumo Sensei, and yeah, welcome to another day everybody. I don't have any strong plans for today, so pretty much anything goes. Currently, as you notice, as in the title, I'm still job searching because dance lessons coming to an end, and it should be over this week. And also guys, no more kid stage plays for now because summer vacation is almost over. So everybody, or all the kids, are going back to school pretty soon. So yeah, so pretty much that wraps up the summer stuff. And now we gotta go back and look for an actual job. And honestly, I don't know what job I'll get, or exactly how much it will affect my live streaming or uploading schedules. But I do need a job, guys, to stay afloat. And honestly, it's kind of rough around the edges. So let us see what happens and let us work things out. I don't necessarily have any actual goals as of now. Probably just get some things together. Hello there, Exist. Hope everything's going well. I'm just pretty much discussing about my life as of now, about what's going on, life updates, and then whatever you guys want to talk about. So that's really all there is to it as of now, guys. Currently, I'm job searching, I'm trying to get my life together, and I just don't know exactly how much it would affect the uploads or the live streams. I still try to upload every single day. Pretty much, I think I'll get that done pretty easily. It's just the fact that what time I'll upload, because I do need to put some time into work as well. So, yep, guys, we're currently job searching. So, let us hope we get some decent job, quote unquote. I did want to work at a pet store, but honestly, I don't think they're hiring me. So, my luck. But yeah, though, guys, I hope everything's going well. Anything you want to talk about? Any topics? Becoming a voice actor, I would very much appreciate it if my voice acting career does work out. But honestly, auditioning is the roughest part of it all. If I'm going to be honest, I did submit some voice acting stuff, but I don't think anybody's wanting me as of now. And yes, my voice range is pretty vast. Well, it depends. I guess what makes it easier for me than most people was that I did do stage acting, which does help, by the way, guys. Any sort of acting can contribute to other sort of acting, you know. So voice acting is still on the plate, but I wouldn't say it's a successful thing. It's very difficult to start in voice acting when it comes to getting your first roles. I've stated this before, but if anybody has any open projects, feel free to contact me, or anything they want me to voice. I'm all in.
Because it's easy. Well, actually, it's very difficult. But, let us see what happens, because
it's just the way life works. But voice acting is still on the table. But boy, oh boy, that would be great, though. If I've always there's one thing I would like to say about voice acting, though. The chance. I just need one chance. That's all I need. The thing that makes voice acting or any big goals such as this so difficult is not necessarily the skills. I have the skills because I already took classes and everything. The only thing I don't have is opportunity. I've been trying to create as many opportunities as I can, but it feels like it hasn't started yet. So I'm praying, I'm hoping that one day somebody can find me, or somebody's willing to give me a chance. Will I succeed? Probably not, but it doesn't mean I'll give up just yet. But hey, that's still on the table though, guys. I don't plan on giving up just yet. I do think it's possible though. Because like I stated, I did took voice acting classes way back when, and although it was overpriced, like literally overpriced for that lesson or those lessons, I think it was worth it. Omae no papa. I'm your papa. Hello there, Omae no papa. That is such a crazy... that is such a crazy title. Bro, I wish you luck. Yep, guys, wish me luck. Give me the best of luck. I don't know, I'm usually confident, but I expect the worst, just put it that way. There's a lot I gotta do. But honestly, it's just a matter of when things will work out. I don't want to lie and tell everybody that, hey man, my life is going great, when in reality it's not. But if I fight, you fight. It's just the way life works, guys. It's rough for everybody, not just for me. But I don't necessarily see life as like... When it comes to motivation, this is the way I approach it, I guess. It's one step at a time. It's not necessarily a sprint, it's a marathon. So for me, I literally just take it one step at a time. So just little by little, and then just let it build itself. But yeah, your voice acting is really good. Hopefully you will find a job. I'm hoping that somebody will be willing to take a chance with me though. But it really just depends. And look, I'll voice anything for free. I am willing to take that chance. I don't care about getting paid as of now, because when you're starting in anything or you're trying to get something going, the first thing you really got to do is to just start. So I'm hoping that somebody, if I do go into voice acting like more seriously, I'm hoping that somebody will just like say, hey, here you go, just do this for free. Like I won't pay you, but I'll give you your shot. That is what I'm looking for. I don't really care about the pay, because the goal is to just start. And I don't want to wait, because they say, I don't know, when it comes to opportunities, you can't necessarily waste it, because opportunities is pretty much, it comes when it needs to. There are people that wait for opportunities, and there are people who create them. I honestly do both. I would like to post more voice acting stuff though. As a matter of fact, I do have plans on doing a little bit more voiceovers and stuff on this channel. And the goal is that I would like to post a minimum of at least one voice acting, narration, or something voice related once a week. Just one video. Because I know I can do it. I just need a chance. But as of now though, I just need to find a job to stay afloat. And trust me, man, my voice is pretty interesting. Honestly, I used to get bullied because of my voice. I remember when I was younger, everyone said that my voice sounds like I'm 30, when I was like only 7 years of age, or 8 years of age. I was very young. And everybody's going out on me. Ever thought about crypto trading or opening a small business? Opening a business will happen at some point with my Tarantula work, so that is bound to happen. I do have a YouTube channel called Laxo. The link is in the description down below. That's where I do my spider work, and that's where you see the spider work of videos. And if anybody wants to go check it out, or if anybody's interested as my work as the Kumo Sensei, please, by all means, feel free to do so. I don't do crypto though, because crypto to me is a scam. A lot of them is too risky for that chance, so I don't plan on doing crypto. I think crypto is not worth it for me, honestly, but a small business will happen. But yeah, the small business definitely it's in the works, put it that way, guys. My spider work is going to become a spider business at some point. As of now, I'm busy trying to grow it I'm trying to grow my tarantula scale until it's big enough to where it's considered lucrative as a business. As of now, my tarantula work is lucrative, so I do make money, but I wouldn't necessarily call it money as where I can just spend it freely. So the net profit isn't really there yet, because every single time I sell tarantulas, and every single time I work with spiders, I do make money, but I invest everything back into it, because I really want it to grow. I'm subbed to the other channels as well. Yes, I'm very familiar with that exist, because I see your subscriptions. Like it says exist, subscribed to your channel. I was like, yes, one more person. I'm so close to hitting 700 subs on my Laxo channel, where I do my spider work. And a lot of people do ask about that, about the containers behind me. And yes, all of those are spiders. And if you want to see them, it's on my Laxo channel, guys. There's a link to it down below. It's very interesting when it comes to spider work. But I don't like approaching spiders as a way of looking at them, like, look at these scary crawlies. That is the most terrifying thing of all time. That's not my approach. My approach to tarantulas and spiders and arachnids is to approach it in an artistic style. I don't like approaching spiders or things that are scary as a negative thing think, because it puts a negative connotation behind it and it deters people away from it. If you want to, I think the best way to put it is that if you want people to find your things interesting, you have to put it in a way where it's not terrifying. Because if you keep scaring away everybody, you're not going to bring in anyone. So that is my approach, and that's the way I view my, my spider work. It's a very artistic, beautiful thing. My Wi-Fi is dying. Oh, that's sad to hear exist. My Wi-Fi is currently doing fine right now, so there's definitely something on your end. But I hope that everybody understands where I'm coming from, though. Like, when it comes to my spider work, I don't necessarily look at it as a way of of a wow factor. I look at it more of so as an artistic point of view. And maybe some of you guys will understand, maybe some of you won't, but someday it will get across. This is why I approach things in life with not necessarily a serious approach, but also a low, lax approach. Hence the title, Laxo. Lax and low combined. And that's how I got the name, because that's really the approach I want to take. A lax and low approach to spiders and the work I do. But I hope that clarifies some things for you guys, because a lot of people do be asking some questions. And if anybody has any questions they want to know about me, feel free to, put it in the chat, and I'll reply to them. Because I feel like this is a great time to answer a bunch of questions, because a lot of people have been asking a lot of the same questions that I pretty much answered already. I don't find it annoying, it's just the fact that I post so often and so frequently that sometimes it gets drowned out. So if anybody has questions about me, I'm usually willing to be open about it. So I don't have a problem compared to most people. Now, I'm not going to tell you my entire life story now, but I will tell you anything that comes to your head, I guess. It's honestly just a way to clarify myself, so that way I don't have to constantly be bombarded by questions over questions over questions. But yeah, guys, that's life, though. It's not doing so great, but we're getting there. I was talking to my friend on Discord, and he sent me a website where you can talk with AI characters. I think AI is going to be the future of everything. Sad as it is to say, because AI makes the work of people so much easier. But I do think that there are some jobs that only a human could do. But yeah, and there are no boundaries about what you can do about AI girls. Huh. AI is not for me, guys, because I have real life friends that I could just talk to. Omae no papa. Internet signal slow. My internet is actually pretty decent as of now. Everything is working fine on my end, so I hate to break it to you guys, if the internet is slow, it's not my end. I think it's your guys' end. My Wi-Fi is doing pretty good today. It's a website for depressed emo guys. My friend's sick, I guess. I personally, I don't know. I find that talking to AI is a bit, it's an interesting experience, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the go-to experience. Because humans are so unpredictable. Well, AI is unpredictable too, to be honest. But at the same time, though, I'd rather just talk to actual people. Not a bunch of AI. Hey, look, if you have no friends and you need somebody to talk to, I guess talking to AI is not that bad of a choice, but honestly, it's not that hard for me. I could just go outside, go to the store, and just have like a short conversation with the store clerk or something. I think that's much more better than talking to an AI. Now, granted, like I stated, if you're a lonely person with no friends and you struggle talking to people, then maybe the AI is your better choice. But for me, I'm a normal person, so I'll be fine, guys. But that is very interesting, though. The use of AI. I still do think that AI it does have a purpose in terms of like doing some work for people, but I don't think it can do everything a human can do. But who knows? I could be wrong in the future though. I do feel bad because it makes me wonder about future job opportunities for people then. No, I tried the website and it has homeless cat girls who you talk with. That sounds that sounds so wacky. Homeless cat girls that you talk with? How does AI generate stuff like that, guys? My friend made that cat girl into his personal maid. Tell your friend to go find some real friends, man. That is just, oh boy. That is kind of, I don't want to say it's sad, that's just kind of strange. A cat girl. A homeless cat girl that's AI generated that you can have a full a legit full conversation with. Huh. Having a conversation with a AI is interesting, I guess, but I just couldn't do it because then it will make me feel weird, like it's a fetish or something, while it's not. That's, man, I don't know. Ooh, look, don't. I'm not gonna search that up. I'm just gonna pretend like AI is just there. Because for me, I'd rather just talk to real people. I do feel bad because loneliness is increasing in the world. That's the strangest thing I've ever said, but it's true. I want to ask something about your workouts. Are you only doing push-ups or something? Okay, and it exists as a question too, so... Well, okay, Omae no Papa. Allow me to explain. I want to ask about your workout. Are you only doing push-ups or something else? I do work out. As a matter of fact, every single video after day 300, I think, or day 400, I've put the statements, yes, I do work out. So yes, I do work out, guys. My workouts do change accordingly because I don't diet and train as a powerlifter or bodybuilder. I work out and train as an actor and a stage actor and dance instructor. So every single time every single time when somebody asks about my workout, I don't want to say it's a good workout or a bad one, but it's a workout that is scheduled and adjusted according to my needs and my benefits for the optimal results for me. So my workout is an individual thing, not necessarily something for everyone. Because like today I had 3 strips of bacon, 3 cups of rice, 3 cups of strawberries, and 1 cup of watermelon. And then I had 2 bottles of water, and then that's pretty much all I have for today. But last week I had 3 eggs, 2 cups of rice, 4 bananas, and then whatever. So my diet is constantly changing, and my workouts change too. Because today I focus on Russian twist and doing 3 sets of 8 to 10 pull-ups, and also the typical push-ups as well, combined with a bit of weight training on the delts, the rear delts, and and whatnot. But yeah, though, I do work out, not just push-ups. No, I don't do just push-ups, guys. I also work out as well. So I hope that answers the question, guys. My friend No Touch Grass. He needs to touch grass exist. No normal conversation. He said he was about to make it his girlfriend. Yeah, he's a lonely fellow, I'll tell you what. Tell him to go outside. So if your friend goes outside and he talks to more people, I think he'll be just fine. But hey, that's up to you. Excuse myself. But yeah, though, my workouts is going to change constantly. Sensei jacked up. I've always been fit. I've been fit for an extremely long time. I think the thing that people forget is that I've been training for years now. Like, years. I've been training for years because I've been doing stage acting for a few years now. And I have been dancing for over 10 years. So I've been dancing for over a decade. So I've been pretty much fit for a very long time. Now, granted, I used to train progressive overload more often a few years back, but not anymore. I stopped with the heavyweight training, and and now I focus more so of just max reps. I don't really focus on like heavy lifts in that anymore. Just because the goals and the mentality has changed now than it did back then. So I don't weight at like my weight has dropped, my muscle mass has dropped, but I'm happier now. But like I stated though, whatever I tell you about my workouts today or this week is going to be different next week. And it's hard to describe, and it's hard for me to tell you guys because I feel like if I tell you my workout for this week, everybody's gonna do it for like the next 3 months and not get any results. But that's just the reason why I kind of just be like, yeah, I just work out, and not necessarily tell you exactly my workouts because it's constantly evolving and changing. Any thoughts about Zom 100? I've already stated this in the last stream. I think Zom 100 is an amazing series. There's not anything like it. Like, what makes Zom 100 to me so interesting is that I can relate to the main character. Like, in the first episode, within like the first 10 minutes, you learn so much about your main character already. And you honestly, like, I don't want to say you agree with everything he does, but you can understand it. Zom 100 episode 1. I hate it. That's a fair thing to say, I guess. It's not meant for everyone, so to each their own, I guess. Episodes 2 and 3 are good. Why? I mean, look, if you dislike it, that's fine. I don't really have a problem necessarily. It's just really just your preferences, I guess, and what you like. Hold on, let me pull it up. Give me a second. Hold up. Here we go. Alrighty, guys. Zom 100, and there's ads popping up. I have my ad blocker on, but for some reason, ads are still popping up. But I still think this series is an amazing series, though. I don't know, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like if I was younger, this series would not do for me. But as a young adult now, I think this series is like, it's an amazing thing. My guy worked in an exploitive company. Yeah, essentially, that's what it was. And it's strange to say that, but I honestly think this show fits more into the demographic for those who are older. Not necessarily for those who are in high school or, younger. But hey, I'm a grown dude, so my taste in anime has changed forever. Like, anime now, and then of what I like has changed completely, so to each their own, guys. My guy worked in an exploited company, though. Yeah, I can relate to that too. Like, every single aspect here of this main character I can relate to. But, Omae no Papa, if you don't like the series, that's fine. Like, it's subjective, I don't really have a problem with people who dislikes anime I like. It's just the way it is. Sometimes it's not meant for you guys, and sometimes it is. I still do think that the live action seems more interesting because it's live action. I gotta watch it. I believe it's on Netflix, by the way, guys. The live action adaptation of Zom 100. There's still so many, there's a lot I like about this series. It's just because I can relate to the main character. Because there are very few main characters I can relate to. Other than a few of them, like Asta, for example, because he works hard. Akira, our main character in the series, he's relatable in a sense of where, he just wants his freedom. That man has been just struggling in life, just trying to get by. So like for me, I can relate to the main character. Just one episode. I mean, that's fair, I guess. Give it a, like, I recommend you guys give it some shots, I guess. Bro, Gurren Lagann was my favorite, and still is my favorite. But I still watch it. Yeah, am I enough, Papa? If you want to continue, please, by all means, feel free to do so. Bro, Gurren Lagann is my favorite, still is my favorite. Gurren Lagann, or Gurren Lagann, depending on where you live and how it's pronounced. I thought Gurren Lagann was okay. Well, actually, it's... Oh, man. I remember watching that way back when. It came out in 2007 or 2008. So somewhere between those 2 years. I remember watching it, but... This is a Studio Trigger problem. I think the story kind of falls a little flat towards the third act. But it's not to say that it's bad though, because the ending, the fighting climax of Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann was so, it's just so over the top. It's legit just like freaking giant robots the size of planets fighting. It gives me the same vibes as like Gundam or something. I love it a lot. But the ending though, a lot of people did not like the ending for Gurren Lagann, but I thought it was fine. Even though, if you haven't seen it, here's spoilers. Even though, you know, Mia, quote unquote, disappears, it's still a decent series overall though. Stream not even loading correctly. My stream is working fine on my end. Definitely on your end, guys. Because, lol. Hey, that's your stream. My stream is working just fine. I have decent internet for today, so thank goodness. Usually it's bad, but for some reason this month my internet has been amazing. It hasn't been terrible, so we've been blessed. Well, I've been blessed. Oh man, but Zom 100 is probably my favorite anime this season though. And then second, I'll probably choose between Jujutsu Kaisen or Bleach or Mushoku Tensei. So we just kind of had to wait and see, honestly. It's surprising because I think Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War, the second arc, I think that's the highest rated anime this season. But it still can't dethrone Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood because Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is always #1. So it's always rigged. Which is honestly the way it is. But I still do like Bleach though. I do hope that they put more into this final part of Bleach because the manga was so... I'm gonna be honest, I was not really the biggest fan of how the manga concluded for Bleach. As a matter of fact, let's pull up Bleach. Give me a second. Okay, Bleach. I think... Okay, here we go. I thought Bleach was... These freaking pop-up ads, man. My ad blocker is not working today, guys. I thought Bleach is great, but I really want to see how they adapt from the manga, though. Because I'm hoping that they're going to add something more to it. The manga is very rushed, if you read it. But hey, that's just my personal opinion, though. I think Bleach was really rushed in the manga because Tite Kubo didn't have time to wrap it up properly. So I'm hoping this time around he gets the justice he deserves. Vinland Saga Season 2 boring. I actually disagree. I feel like if you're going in expecting a seinen anime, you're not going to get it for this season. For Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga Season 2 is definitely a philosophical approach to it, like anime. I mean, hey, that's just my opinion though. If it's not for you, it's not for you though. Bro, latest episode of Jobless Reincarnation, poor Rudius. Bro messed up in every single way. I honestly don't feel bad for Rudius at all because I kind of know what happens. So honestly, I haven't. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I haven't read the light novels for Mushoku Tensei, but I know people who have read it and told me what has happened and what will happen. So I'm not too surprised because especially Rudius during his teenage and early adult years, you'll understand why I say that. Bro, personal stuff not working. I guess it's time to upgrade the Wi-Fi, guys, if your internet is going down. But Mushoku Tensei, though, I think it's a decent series, though. I wouldn't necessarily say Mushoku Tensei is the greatest series of all time, but I do think the world building in Mushoku Tensei is amazing. Some of the characters are good, some of the characters I don't like. And some characters I feel like are way too disposable. Which, honestly, becomes... Based on what I've been told, and based on what I know is going to happen, I do think that some stuff, such as some characters, I feel like are not going to be utilized properly in some aspects, but we just kind of had to wait and see. But hey, that's just my personal take on Mushoku Tensei, though. I don't hate Rudius, though, but I remember when people used to roast that guy, though. People used to say that Rudius is a boring, generic, ecchi MC, and now everybody's liking Rudius. If I'm being honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of Rudius. I think Rudius as a character is fine, but I wouldn't say he's anything standout. I think what really makes Mushoku Tensei stand out to everyone is pretty much the world building. The world itself is breathable, like you can watch it and breathe it in almost. And I think that's the charm of Mushoku Tensei. Some of the characters do have their charms as well, such as Roxy, for example. I like Roxy a lot. And some other characters, but at the same time, though, I feel like... I don't want to say it's the plot, but it's some of the characters. According to me, Jobless Reincarnation is the greatest isekai anime. I can see that. For some people, that is. Not to me personally. I think the best isekai, in terms of the overall package, without a doubt, is Re:Zero. I think Re:Zero is a 10 out of 10. Because, I don't want to get into spoilers or anything, but I feel like some characters in Mushoku Tensei are not utilized correctly. Especially towards the later half, because there are so many characters later on, that I feel like sometimes I wonder if they're going to kill them off, which they don't. Well, spoiler alerts, by the way. But I think Re:Zero does a better job at character utilization. But that's just my personal opinion, though. I still do think Mushoku Tensei is a good series. But greatest series is very subjective, I guess. Give Rudius the AI homeless cat girl website. I'll pass on that. According to... Rimuru Slime is good, number 1. Reincarnation as a Slime is great. I think that's a great series overall. I do think that the anime kind of doesn't come close to the light novel, even though it does a good job. I think the light novel is a must-read for Slime, because Slime is better off reading than watching it to an extent. Well, unless you want to see the action. But I think the characters go into more depth in the light novels than they do in the anime, which I'm not saying it's bad, it's just my personal opinion. I forgot about Re:Zero and Reincarnated as a Slime. Everybody forgets, I'll tell you what. But that's just my personal takes on isekais. Slime I think Slime is a great series, but I feel like sometimes it can drag a little bit. Like how they did with Season 2, with the split cores. Never mind, greatest isekai is Re:Zero. Exist, you don't have to agree with me. Like, you're free to like what you like. Like, if you like Mushoku Tensei as number 1, then that's on you. If you like, another or whatever isekai as your number 1, you're free to like that as well. For me, I just like ReZero a lot because I feel like everything is utilized correctly. Well, not correctly, but everything has purpose in ReZero. Reincarnated as a slime is second for me. That's a. I don't really, man. Okay, this is strange to say, but I don't have a top 10 list of isekais. So, like, the thing is this, guys. Isekais, even though it's been around for about 8 years now, the term isekai, that is, you have to understand that isekai is still coming in and out. There are so many isekais coming out every single like season at this point that everybody's list is constantly changing. So for me, because of that, I just really just watch isekai open-minded. I don't really go into isekai expecting like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece story now. I literally just watch I literally just watch isekai for isekai at this point. So, like, even though I do call some isekais generic or boring, I don't necessarily hate it. It's just the fact that the formula for isekais is so standardized to where like everything seems like it's generic. But I remember it was 2015 was when isekai became an actual term. History 101, guys. I remember isekai, the term isekai, when it became something big. 2015. You had Konosuba, Overlord, and then I believe they just announced ReZero, the anime, into production. It didn't come out until spring of 2016. And a lot of you guys may just have been younglings back then, but I was already old enough to watch anime. But I've been watching anime since I was a kid anyway, so. But that was the history of isekais. But, like, I remember like it was yesterday, man. Everything in 2015 was like isekai. 2016 was when the term stuck to like the genre. But a lot of people forget though, isekai has been around forever. Like, Inuyasha is technically isekai. Familiar Zero is an isekai. Nobody talks about those series. Like you have to understand, man. The term isekai is relatively somewhat new, but isekai itself has been around forever. Like, a very long time. Surprised nobody watches Inuyasha. People don't even consider Inuyasha an isekai, even though it technically is. But, man, people nowadays, they don't want... They want to come about talking about anime and stuff, and like isekais, and don't even know, like, that like Familiar Zero is an isekai. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. Modern isekai are isekais, but you got to remember, isekais is literally another world. So technically, anything in another world is considered an isekai. So at this point, you might as well just consider anything in another world an isekai. One Piece live action, I'm going to be honest, I actually like it quite a bit. Except one thing. I find, well, this is my nitpick, and hear me out. I don't hate what the One Piece live action, the newest trailer that I saw. I made a Twitter post about it, but the thing is this, Arlong. What happened to my man Arlong? In terms of like how he looks, in terms of like his face and whatnot, it's cool, but like his body proportions is not big and bulky. Arlong is like this tough, intimidating character, and yeah, the live action kind of not necessarily ruins him, but nerfs him. But my overall thoughts is that I thought the One Piece trailer was better than I expected. I thought it was going to be terrible, especially with Buggy's chop fruit, because if anything, I think whoever portrays Buggy did a great job. Like, literally did a great job from what I've seen so far. So I'm still a bit skeptical, but I'm at least looking forward to it compared to everything else that came before, such as Cowboy Bebop and Inuyasha, not Inuyasha, but Yu Yu Hakusho, my bad. I totally forgot about Yu Yu Hakusho, but that's pretty much the next live action that's going to be pretty bad. I've heard about Inuyasha, but never watched it. It's a very long series, honestly. So, read the manga if you want to get caught up quicker, I guess. But yeah, though, a lot of isekais nowadays, man. But that's my personal thoughts about the One Piece live action. I think it has potential, but we just need to see the final product. Like, once we see it, we will have a stronger opinion. But from everything I've seen, it looks better than Cowboy Bebop, so I'm not complaining, honestly. And if it is bad, it is what it is. I personally, like, if I had to jump into the future and just make a prediction, I think the live action One Piece will be fine. I don't think it will be good or terrible. I think it will be fine. Like, decently good. But we need to see more, though. But at least now we know that the live action covers up to Arlong Park. So, man, that's crazy. You have Barati, and then you have... So that's essentially 3 arcs covered. 3 to 4 arcs covered in the live action One Piece. Huh. You have the first arc, the one with Usopp, and then Barati, and then you have what you call it, Arlong. Man, that's crazy. How like I wonder how they're gonna put it all into one season. Because that sounds like a lot to do. So I know they're gonna cut out some stuff. So let's hope that whatever they decide to put up, like into the actual live action, let's hope the material they choose is actually good material. But I'm thinking what they're gonna do is this. I think they're gonna adapt a lot from the manga and the series, but also put in a little bit of an original twist. So that way it doesn't seem like a what you call it? A copy and paste replica of the, you know, One Piece and whatnot of the manga. Because the thing about live action is why a lot of them don't work is not necessarily the acting. Well, sometimes it is, but not really anymore. It's more so of the directing and what they choose to put into the dialogue. That plays a really big role. The thing is this: if you do a copy and paste of it, okay, let me explain it, guys. There's nothing wrong with doing live actions, but if you do a copy and paste, then there's nothing original to it. So therefore, it becomes a cheap rip-off replica, which is the problem live actions suffer from. However, if you go too off the rails and you change it completely by adding your own source material, it becomes something else entirely. Dragon Ball Evolution, for example. And that's the problem about live actions. You need to find the balance between how to retell a story, but at the same time being faithful while not trying to be too original or too different. You need to find that perfect spot, which is very difficult for any live action already. But that's just my personal take, though. I do think that live actions will get better, but as of now, nobody has the formula right. But let us see about One Piece. I'm waiting for Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling has gotten... Man, if there is one anime series that has gotten a lot of ups and downs, it's definitely Solo Leveling. Here's my personal thoughts about Solo Leveling. A lot of people were not necessarily happy because from what I've been told and what people have been saying, Solo Leveling legit just turned everything from Korean to Japanese. I don't know if that's true or not. So some of the stuff got changed a little bit in terms of like the setting theme, I guess. But the overall story is still there. And people are skeptical about the animation. They're wondering if the animation will hold up to the manhwa. And honestly, I don't even know. Because we need to see the actual anime once it comes out before we can have a strong, opinion. Because I'm not the person that judges a book by its cover. I usually try to read a few pages. When I say a few pages, I mean a quarter of the pages of the book before I give you my my actual biased, strong opinions about things. But as of now, Solo Leveling, we only have trailers and stuff, so like there's not really a lot to say from it. And I know that people are already looking down on it, but it's too early to call. Kami no Toll. Tower of God is great. And like, here's my personal opinion about the Kami no Toll, or the Tower of God. Of the big three, Noblesse, God of High School, and Kami no Toll, aka Tower of God. I think Tower of God is my personal favorite of the big three manhwas, those three big ones. And the only reason why is because the story is interesting and the concept itself is very intriguing. Not to mention it's different. Like, God of High School and Noblesse, I think they're great manhwas, but at the same time though, I feel like anyone could have made it, if you get what I'm saying. Tower of God seems like something somebody thought out. Now granted, when it comes to Tower of God, I do think that it falls short in some aspects, but it's not horrible by any means. I still think it's better. I still think it's better than the other two. God of High School suffers from power scaling, especially later on, and Noblesse feels less of a, like, I don't know how to put Noblesse. It feels less of like a long-running series and more so of like a school life with supernatural elements, to an extent. But I still do like Noblesse though. Like, don't get it twisted, guys. I don't hate like I don't necessarily hate the series, but it's just the fact that of the three, Tower of God is my favorite. Now granted, I haven't been reading a lot of the newer manhwas because there are so many manhwas out now. It is ridiculous. You have to understand, manhwas back then were different to how they were now. Because now anyone could just post a manhwa on a website or on Twitter or on Reddit and it becomes big. That wasn't necessarily the case back then. Back then you legit had to actually ask a website to host your manhwa. And then if it becomes big, people just pick up on it. Like what happened with Noblesse. Man, I remember that happening to Noblesse way back when. And then it was popular enough to where it got an anime original special for like one episode in 2012 or something, 2014, somewhere around that time period. And then it got in another one. And then it finally got the anime adaptation it deserved. But then the anime adaptation wasn't as great. Like, I can never forget that. But manhwas has changed a lot, so I can't really like read everything of manhwas now because there's just too many. Hello there, Marco. It's nice to see you again. We're talking about manhwas here, about the big three: Tower of God, God of High School, and Noblesse. But I think what happened with Noblesse, why it fell off in popularity, was that it became outdated. You have to remember, guys, Noblesse came out way back when. It came out before Attack on Titan, I believe. Like, it's like the anime of Attack on Titan. Like, it predates a lot of stuff, put it that way. So I think for its time, it worked because it was school life, supernatural, the character was handsome, he was a badass, and everybody liked him because it was cold, overpowering, and pretty much like your typical, MC when it comes to your manga/manhwas. But over time, like the stories of manhwas and everything in general of the medium has changed so drastically that the target audience kind of changed as well on what they like. And then Noblesse just sort of fell back. God of High School, I remember God of High School, man. God of High School was legit when it came out. Great manhwa. However, it falls apart once they start scaling the power levels. Power leveling in God of High School is atrociously bad. That is a biased take, but that is my honest take. A lot of people call God of High School the Dragon Ball Z of manhwa. And honestly, that's a fair assessment. Because Jin Mori, he's a great character, but his powers is just exploding through the roof, like every single chapter. It's like, man, the best way to put it is like if he was on Asura's wrath and he just couldn't cool himself. It's really a power leveling issue. Tower of God has issues as well. I think the biggest issue with Tower of God is that sometimes the pacing can feel a bit dragged out. And I feel like sometimes characters are just not utilized to their maximum potential of what they can do. And not to mention, later on, once the anime adapts it, like, I really wonder if Bomb or Yoru in the anime, like, I feel like him as a character, he grows, but not as much as I would like, if you put it simply. But I still think Tower of God's concept is more interesting than most. He is God of Goku. That's essentially Jim Mori, guys, and the God of High School. Well, that's History 101, guys, about what I personally think about the series. Solo Leveling, I'm going to be honest, Solo Leveling came out at a time when I thought that overpowered characters were kind of boring. No offense. But here, okay, I don't know exactly how I'll put Solo Leveling. I feel like it suffers later on, the later half, than the beginning. This is a problem that plagues every single series. Anime, manga, manhwa, like, you name it. It is really just a matter of how to end the story. And I feel like Solo Leveling is kind of like, oh, man. That it puts everybody on the fence if you know what happens in the manhwa. Look, I haven't caught up with Solo Leveling, but I know what happens. And based on what I heard, if it's true, I'm not impressed. But that's just my personal take, though. The thing about manhwas, why it's so confusing at times to find good ones, is the fact that it's posted randomly. You just have to be there at the right time to find it. Because, like, now if it catches on, you're lucky. But most of the times, a lot of manhwas go on, like, they literally go unnoticed. Ending fillers was good. Hey, free to have your own thoughts, Marco, but that's my personal take, guys, on manhwas, I guess. Now, granted, the anime, we don't know how it's going to be like. It's kind of funny because a lot of people are so skeptical about the anime of Solo Leveling. Some people already gave up on it, and some people are like, this is the most hype thing of all time. And honestly, I see both sides, so whichever side you stand on, we just kind of had to wait and see how it's executed. I'm going to go in open-minded, though. Like I'm going to pretend like I've never seen it before and just go in blind. So that way I can have a much less biased opinion. So people don't roast me if I give you my final thoughts. Because I think that's a more fair assessment to stuff, I guess. But essentially, though, that's pretty much where I stand on Solo Leveling, though. I think it's a decent series. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's a masterpiece either. Because manhwas is still growing as a medium, and it has so much more potential to get like much better. And you see, this is a problem I have with animes and every single series nowadays. Is this: how do you end a series? Because the majority of animes I've watched never concluded. For example, light novels get cancelled, mangas get cancelled, and because of that, the anime has nothing to adapt from. So they cancel the animes as well. So essentially, at this point, like, a lot of animes and a lot of manhwas, mangas, light novels, visual novels, everything, they don't have proper endings. Well, visual novels they do because that's a game, but you get what I'm saying, though. I'm really hoping that the ending for a lot of these manhwas, these big ones that is proper. What is your favorite manhwa? I don't have a favorite manhwa because I had like there's a lot I have not read in a long time. Excuse myself. Like, was it? I think it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I thought that Unordinary was one of the greatest manhwas I've ever read because. But now, granted, this was 5 to 6 years ago. We're talking about Unordinary. Unordinary is legit a guy who looks like he doesn't look like a main character. But once he powers up, that man is a main character. Just put it that way. But, like, my favorite manhwas, I don't have one. Because I feel like manhwas don't have proper conclusions yet. A lot of the good ones are still ongoing, so too early for that, guys. Clannad have good ending. Yeah, right. If Clannad had a good ending, I would have been happy. I played the visual novel. There is no happy ending. Everything about Clannad. For people who don't understand Clannad was made to be sad. That's why the visual novel, which is the original source material, guys, not the anime Clannad. The anime is sad too, but the visual novel, all the endings are either sad or bittersweet sad. There is no happy ending in Clannad. Marco, my man, we are drunk. I personally would not put Clannad. I wouldn't even put that anywhere near a good ending. I think the endings are just sad. It makes you feel some type of way. I still do wish that this is kind of strange to say, but I really wish that Clannad had a remake. If Clannad had got a remake, or they explored the other routes, I would be the happiest man on earth. But they're not gonna do that, man. Clannad would never do that. I promise you that. Like, I think Kyoto Animation was the studio behind the Clannad anime. I could be wrong on that, but they're not going to adapt the other routes in Clannad. They should, though. If they did, I would love to see it just so I can cry more. Because every ending of Clannad is sad. There is no good ending, and there is no true ending. There's only one type of ending, and that's the sad ending. And that's all the and that's legit all of the endings in Clannad, if you play the visual novel. Man, Clannad, it takes me back, yo. Like, you couldn't necessarily play Clannad for a very long time because the visual novels were not translated. So everybody would illegally pirate or torrent the files to play Clannad, and fans would actually do fan translations, and that's how people would play Clannad. But like, because now Clannad wasn't as big when it came out, to be honest. That once the anime came out, it was solid. But like here in the West, or in any other Western country outside of Japan, or any country outside of Japan that is, they couldn't get their hands on Clannad, so they just had to bootleg it, torrent the files, and translate it. Hello there, Vinks. I hope everything's going well. But that's essentially the story of Clannad, though. It was, I think 2007 was the year where like everybody was pirating Clannad, the visual novel. Because the visual novel is a masterpiece. So if you want to see the other endings, I recommend it. Now it's free, I think. I think you get it on Steam or on some websites legally. I don't know how much it costs, but it's totally worth the time to go check out and invest in. But that's just a little bit of history of Clannad from what I can remember. Now, granted, at that time I was still a young kid, so my memory's fuzzy, guys, when it comes to that time period. But man, that was when they started to transition as well. Animation styles were transitioning from the typical Clannad style to more so of like the refined style that you'll see in Familiar Zero, Sekirei, and those type of series. Now, Sekirei has such a... I was not happy with that ending. Oh my gosh. I still wish they got a proper conclusion for Sekirei, because the way it ended for that series... For those who don't know, Sekirei in English translates to wagtails, or tagging somebody's tail. Just say wagtails. So History 101 about Sekirei. And it came out way back when, but the problem was that the manga always got put on hold, hiatuses, and not to mention the story lacked direction. So the ending that we got was the ending we got, which was not really a conclusive ending. It just ends. And I really wish that they would actually explore more of it, but they don't. So I was not satisfied with Sekire because I loved the art style. The anime was fine, the manga was good, but that's just my personal take. Better than Evangelion. Evangelion, I feel like here's my bias thing about Evangelion. I hate the ending. I feel like, okay, hear me out. If there was an ending where they all survive, or where the majority of them survive, then I think Evangelion would have a much better reputation. But because of how it ended, everybody would be like, oh, nah, man, we're just gonna forget about it. But I tell you what, though, Evangelion has one of the most banger themes of all time, though. Cruel Angel Thesis, was it? That opening for Evangelion smacks. It's still, everybody knows that opening. Da, 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 da. As soon as you hear that, you know it's Evangelion. Like, god dang. It's crazy too how much of history Evangelion has become. Evangelion, man, they built legit statues, 101 like designs. What an amazing, like, what an influential series. Even though I don't like the ending for Evangelion, I do think that it is an interesting watch, I guess. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was not a big fan of the remakes, the 2.0 and 3.0s, because I feel like they keep changing. Stop changing Evangelion, for God's sake. Like, oh man. For those who watch Evangelion, you know what I'm talking about. So Evangelion, once in a while, they would do like, not necessarily remakes, but more of like retellings of the story. With like 2.0, 3.0, 3.10, Once Upon a Time, and those type of stuff and whatnot. Which is essentially I don't want to say a remake, it's more so of a retelling. I honestly don't like how they keep doing that, because it just drives me nuts. Now people forget, people will always talk about the 2007 version. That's the one a lot of people watch. The 2006, 2008 version, somewhere between that time period. That's not the original one. The original one came out in the 90s, and the CGI on that looks absolutely horrible. Like, it looks like it came out of a video game. Just search it up. You type in old school Evangelion CGI, and you'll see what I mean. But the one that everybody's familiar with is the 2006, 2008 one. I forgot the year it came out. Somewhere in that time period. Name an anime with a good ending. Very few animes have good endings. I promise you, very few of them do. Huh. I'm gonna be a broken record when I say this. I think Fullmetal Alchemist had a decent ending, without a doubt. What else have a good ending? The Kagero Project had a decent ending. If you read the source material, watch everything and whatnot. Gintama's ending was pretty good too. I thought it was a good ending. Well, it was a fine ending actually. Not everything was conclusive, but everything was conclusive enough to where it was acceptable. I thought Naruto's ending was fine, I guess. Even though the final battle was disappointing, in my personal opinion, I thought the ending for Naruto was fine. What else was pretty good? Man, finding a good anime ending is very far and few. That's kind of sad to say. If anybody knows any good anime endings, I'd like to know, because very few animes have proper conclusions, because a lot of them get cancelled, or a lot of them would never adapt another season because of how poor it performs for either the source material or the anime. But I'm still trying to think of good anime endings, but I can't think of any, guys. That's kind of sad to say, because like I think a lot of anime series is pretty good. It's just that they don't conclude. So, man, that is just sad. Good endings for anime. I can't think of any. A lot of the animes I watch just never get concluded. Which is the saddest thing to say, but it's true. But if anybody knows any animes with any good endings, I would like to know though, because I can't think of much, honestly. I thought Dororo had a pretty good ending. I thought I thought 91 Days had a very satisfying conclusion. Not a good ending, but a satisfying one. Code Geass has a very great conclusion. I love Code Geass. I think Code Geass had a very solid ending. It's not necessarily a happy ending, but it's a well-deserved ending. I love that anime actually. Really great ending for sure. Kill la Kill had a decent ending. Man, I'm trying to name good like endings for anime, and there's so few. That's just sad. Oh man, sorry guys, you gotta give me some time. I've watched a lot of animes, but a lot of them do not conclude at all. They just sort of stop. So I don't know. Maybe someday we'll find good animes with good endings. Like, it's kind of hard to put a fine line between it, guys, because there's a difference between a deserved ending and a good ending. Like, I can't find the fine line between the two. Like, for example, I think Recreators had a really conclusive ending. Well, not necessarily conclusive, but it had a fine ending, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a good ending either. Huh. Very few series have actual endings that concludes everything. And you have to understand, when an anime concludes, you want it to have a proper conclusion, as if there's no plot holes, everything's explained, and every character is either explored or they're closed off their stories in a satisfying manner. But when I think of it like that, I can't think of many. Like, very few come into mind. I will tell you bad endings though. Monogatari series though, there is no ending. Not yet. I feel like Monogatari, I love the writer, I forget what's his name, but at the same time though, I really wish he would like wrap up Monogatari. Because the thing about Monogatari is that it's been a very, very, very long time since it's been running. It's been around for a very long time. I feel like at this point, a lot of stories that are happening in the Monogatari series just kind of happens. It doesn't really add too much to the plot. Now, granted, it does develop some characters, like, you know, Araragi, for example, because he's the main character, obviously. But I feel like the overarching plot, like he's in Monogatari, supposedly, I feel like from there on, everything else is just kind of like, yeah, it's backstory, I guess, you know? But that's just my personal opinion, though. Now granted, if we're talking about bad endings, there's a lot of bad ending animes, like inconclusive endings, because there's just too many bad ones and not enough good ones. Now, I do wish that some series had a proper conclusion, but the more I think about it, the more less likely it's going to happen. Like Akame got killed, for example, the anime's ending was absolutely atrocious. And then the manga was like decent at least. At least Takumi survives in the manga, and him and Mine had kids, and Akame got killed. In the anime, he dies, everybody dies pretty much except Akame. So I'm like, oh my god. This anime is atrocious. And not to mention, it's by Studio White Fox. Studio White Fox is my favorite anime studio. But that was a big screw up on their end because they went anime original. But, oh man. That's one example of a bad ending in an anime. Another example is Elfen Lied. Elfen Lied's ending is bad because it's not conclusive for the anime. Now, the manga actually does have a proper conclusion, not the anime, which is disappointing. I thought Deadman Wonderland's ending was not conclusive. It's not bad, but the ending was not very conclusive to me. So that's just a hot take for me. Another really bad ending series that will never get a second season that I hope will someday is To the Sacred Beast. To the Sacred Beast was a relatively recent anime. It came out about 2 years ago, I think. I thought that was a good series, but my god, they need to wrap that up, man. Like, there's just so many bad series. Like, oh gosh. It's kind of funny because everybody tells me that Beastars has a great conclusion. I've only seen season 1 of Beastars and some of season 2, but I really need to catch up on Beastars, man. I know the anime's already released and everything, but I heard Beastars was actually a masterpiece of an ending. So I really would like to check that out in the future. But finding a good ending is just impossible nowadays. There's just so many bad ones that all the good ones just get out the door. Look at Glass Lip. Glass Lip came out in 2014. It was done by an amazing anime studio, PA Works, known for creating Angel Beats, and Charlotte and those sad animes. And what they deliver with Glass Lip is a non-narrative story with supernatural elements that don't do anything. And by the end of the series, you're left with essentially nothing from where you started. God, I hate when it comes to bad anime and bad endings. I think one of the worst animes of all time, in terms of narratively, is Glass Lip. I know people make fun of Seven Deadly Sins and those type of stuff and X-Arm and whatnot, but let those stories tell let the story tell themselves. Because if we're talking story-wise of a bad ending, I think Glass Lip has the most boringest ending of all time, which makes it one of my personal animes that I would put as the worst animes of all time. Like, visually, it looks amazing. Music-wise, it's amazing. Everything's amazing but the story. Which, oh god. Man, that one is... I hate talking about that series because it makes my head spin. I think another bad ending series is King's Game. King's Game is so terrible. Oh my gosh. For those who don't know, King's Game is actually based off a I think it was based off a visual novel. I could be wrong on that, but King's Game got a live action adaptation, and then later on in 2017, I believe, 2018, it got an anime adaptation of King's Game. Horrible. I have never seen a King's Game adaptation that I like. I think every single King's Game form is bad. Like, the overall story of King's Game is just stupid. Oh my god. It's a game of dare, essentially. And if you don't do what they say, you die. And it's just bad. Oh god. What a horrible series. Wasting my time watching that, too. I can go into depth about talking about bad series. And that is one series you should stay away from. That series is the plague. It's bad. Same thing for Glass Lip. Stay away from that. It's bad. Like, narratively. Animation-wise, I know that people always talk about bad animes with animation, but honestly, sometimes you just need to let the story carry itself out. Because if the story is good at least, then at least it's somewhat enjoyable. Like I really hate poor narratives, because poor narrative stories drives me nuts. Because it makes me just waste my time, honestly. If there's bad animation, I can at least enjoy it. Like, laugh at it to an extent. But bad narrative stories is a no-go for me, guys. And you have to understand, for me at this point in time in my life, when I watch an anime, it's pretty much an investment because I have a life to worry about now. I don't have the same leisure as I did when I was younger. So, like, every series I've watched, or any series, counts as something. And you got to understand that. Because back then, I would just watch anything. Because I was still young. I had, like, nothing to lose. So I would just watch legit every single anime that came out. Now I gotta choose wisely about what I want to watch and what I like. Now, look, I'm not saying that all anime is bad. I'm just saying that, in my personal opinion, good endings is just hard to come by. I feel like when it comes to Shonen Jump, I feel like they have much more better conclusions, even if it is canceled or rushed, than other series. Because Shonen Jump at least gives a little bit of leisure of, like, wrapping things up. When you go up into, like, the smaller outlets of manga, such as, like, Manga Up and those smaller outlets that's not Shonen Jump, that publishes manga, those series, once they get canceled, that's it. Like, you're just never going to see it again. They don't even end, they just stop. Which infuriates me, because there's a lot of great manga series that just never concluded. For example, there's this one manga I read way back. This is like way back when. It's a romance series about a woman who pretty much runs a high school girl who runs away from home to pretty much runs up to this hidden shrine, this abandoned shrine of a god. And this god is like a serpent god or something. Gosh, I love that series, but it got canceled. What was your first anime to have a big influence on your anime love? Huh. Anime that has a big influence. Huh. Anime that has big influence. Here's the okay. In terms of like, okay, action animes. So when it comes to actions, it's the action genre that brought me to like more to the fighting aspect of anime. Definitely Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Those two have big influences for certain. Even though that's a generic answer. Now, in terms of like loving anime as like just loving everything about it, one of the biggest anime influences that pretty much changed my perspective in storytelling, not necessarily just action alone, like story-wise, is Bakano or Bakano. Bakano or Bakano is an amazing story, but the problem is that there's so many characters in that series, and a lot of events happen out of place, and it's your job as the viewer to put everything that happens to make sense to you, honestly. And I honestly think that Bakano is one of those series that actually changed my view of anime forever. Because back then, every new anime fan or every casual anime fan always looks at like those cool fight sequences and whatnot, or like cool scenes of like overpowered characters and like these cool fighting sequences and shonen and whatnot. For me, what changed my perspective in anime forever was Bakano. It does have action in the anime, but it's a narrative story, and you have to piece everything that happens together by yourself. Like I love it. Bakano is a one-of-a-kind anime. Till this day, I still think it's a one-of-a-kind anime. It's very hard for new anime watchers to understand it, but for those people who likes very complex stories and very interesting characters that wants to see different characters, recommend Bakano. That anime changed my perspective on anime storytelling forever. It came out in 2008, 2009, 2010, somewhere between that time period. I believe 2009 is when it came out. That anime changed everything for me, storytelling wise. It changed my perspective as a way of like, hey, let's not focus on anime, like the action stuff. Let us focus on storytelling. And the story it told is amazing. Man, I love that series, yo. I love almost all of the characters in that series. For 16 episodes, I believe it was 16 episodes. That anime delivers a story unlike any other anime I've ever seen until now. It's a historical drama in a way, or historical action, supernatural anime, but it's an amazing story. It's truly one of a kind. Changed one of my biggest influences of all time in terms of like narrative wise. In terms of romance series, when it comes to the romance genre of where it changed for me, I can't think of any. I think romance in itself was already something good for me. Like, I could say Fruits Baskets, but then again though, like, Fruits Baskets, even though it is a melodrama and a romance, I more so used it as like, as a medium of enjoyment rather than like influencing myself, I guess. But I don't know, guys. I have a lot of influences. Like Dragon Ball Z was the action influence. Story and narrative influence was Bakano. Romance, I love romance no matter what. Horror is Higurashi, and Higurashi, and then later on was what you call it, Mononoke. What about fantasy or isekai? Huh. Honestly, fantasy fantasy or isekai. If you're talking about just pure fantasy, probably Sorcerer Stabbing Orphan, the PS2 game that is. That pretty much was probably where it started for me. Or unless you want to talk about like Final Fantasy or something. But in terms of anime, fantasy was already pretty big already, so I didn't really have an influence for fantasy, if I'm being completely honest. Because I thought the idea of like magic in itself was already a big influence. So there's really nothing too big on that, like that end. Isekais. Boy. Familiar Zero, Inuyasha, and a bunch of other series are pretty much already isekais before isekais became a genre. So I don't even know where to begin. But I think what really changed I think what really made me love isekais is ReZero. And hear me out. Where would you put Gintama? Gintama is enjoyment. It's definitely it's more so of an enjoyment and less of an influence. Unless you want to talk about influence of enjoying animes, then Gintama's probably on there. But I never really if I'm being completely honest, even though Gintama does have its serious moments, I more so watch Gintama as like an outlet of just laughing. If you get what I'm saying. Because it was more so of an enjoyment and less of an influence to me. Because you have to understand, Gintama for me came later on in my preteen years. So, like ages 13, 14, and 15-ish. That was when Gintama came in for me. I don't really have anywhere to put Gintama, honestly, because like Gintama came at a place, it came at a time where pretty much I was trying to start over, if you get what I'm saying, starting new of my life. So I wouldn't necessarily put Gintama anywhere special, I guess. Because during that time, 12, 13, 14, and 15, when I was watching Gintama, or when I started watching Gintama, it was more so of just for free time leisure. So, I don't know, maybe if I was younger, I guess the influence would be stronger, but I really don't know about Gintama, though. Gintama is kind of its own thing, I guess. A lot of animes, a lot of time, and a lot of stuff. It's honestly kind of surprising how I'm still watching anime. Because, anime, I feel old. I feel way too old. I'm not even in my mid-20s yet. I'm almost in my mid-20s. And yeah, it feels like I've been watching anime for years on years on years. It's honestly different now, but it's okay. Like, it changes a lot. Now everything is about animation. Before then, you were just happy you got an anime. Like, man, people take it for granted nowadays. I promise you, back then, when an anime was announced, everybody was throwing their hands up in the air because, like, getting an anime project started back then was so expensive. It was just ridiculous just to get it going. But once it did, everybody was celebrating. Now, if an anime is announced, everybody's hoping that the adaptation is at least good. But for us, we were just happy already. Midlife crisis. Yep, I'm still going through that phase, sort of. Did you ever regret for watching anime? Did you ever regret for watching anime? What do you mean by that specifically, Marco? You gotta be more specific. Like, is there an anime I regret watching? Or do I regret watching anime as part of my life? Which of the two are you asking here? Midlife crisis. I'm not necessarily in my midlife crisis right now. Well, actually, I'm sort of am. It's more so I'm trying to get my life started. But once everything gets kicked off, though, I think I'll be fine. I just need that one opportunity, that chance. And honestly, I've been trying to create those opportunities. I mean, started watching anime. No, I don't. I don't regret watching anime. Like, I don't regret starting it. However, I will say this though. There are times that I wish that I could legit just stop watching anime at times to focus more on my life. Because I know that sounds kind of strange to say, but like at some point in your life, you would have seen so much animes that no matter how much you missed, and no matter how much other people have watched, you've seen so many that at this point, everything muddles into one. So there are times in my life, even back then, where I question like, is it even worth watching this anime? I know everybody says it's good, but to me, it seems like every other anime I've seen that is good. So this is kind of like a strange way to put it. There's more to life than just watching anime. That is so strange to put it, and it's kind of hard for people to wrap their heads around that, especially if your life is focused on anime. But you have to understand though, guys, I didn't watch anime as a hobby, a free time, or a leisure like that. I've watched it because I just grew up with it. Like, anime was already at my face. I mean, heck, I remember watching Ninja Scrolls and like, man, it's crazy. Ninja Scrolls as a little kid, that's not safe for a kid, but you get where I'm coming from though. Like, I really want people to understand that anime can influence people as well, but you need to understand that you have your own life as well, man. And sometimes, now that I think about it, I don't regret watching animes, but there are times where I question myself, like, is it worth the investment? Because now looking back on it, a lot of animes were worth the watch, but some of them, I still wish I could have taken that time back and just invest into something else, especially in myself. I mean, you have to understand though, guys, watching anime is a good way to escape from reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of reality. That's just impossible, man. Because now looking back on it, now looking back on it as a kid, I think I used anime as an escapism rather than using it as a way to fix my life, if you get what I'm saying. But now that I'm older, I look at anime as a way just to have fun now. You know, not really as an escapism or anything of that sort. So I'm hoping that like someday, like I don't want to tell people that because I feel like they wouldn't understand. Because it's very hard to wrap your head around it. Even back then, at one point I loved anime so much, I was legit like one with anime. But as you grow older, you recognize that anime is made for your enjoyments, not made for your life. And although you can make a career from watching anime like on YouTube and whatnot, your life is still your life. You just need to start living your life at some point. And that's the way I view anime now. Like, now I just view anime as like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it. But I'm not gonna love anime as if it's the only thing I have in life. Because sometimes you really gotta go outside and touch grass. And thank God, and I'm gonna be honest, I am very happy that I met some of the greatest people of all time at the right time when I need them. If not, I would legit, I'm not even kidding, if I have never met some amazing people in my life, I would be stuck watching anime 24/7. I would be overweight. I used to be overweight anyways. I'd be overweight still. I would not have done stage acting, dancing, or YouTube. I would be an introvert, and I would hate my life, and I would be directionless. And I would never have been the Kumo Sensei. But luckily for me, my situation at the time was not really the greatest. So I was never home anyways to begin with. Like, I tried not to stay home for a certain point of time. And because of that, I touched grass, I met some people, and my life changed for the better. You may not notice it, but it's one step at a time. It doesn't happen all at once. And man, that was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. I'm blessed. Like, if it was not for that time, I promise you, you will not see me here. I will not exist. Or I'll not be the same. Now I would really like to tell people sometimes that anime is a great escapism, but it's not the greatest way to escape from reality. It's just my personal opinion. And I know people like to quote anime stuff, but I don't like doing that. Because, for example, if an anime character said this, I will not say this anime character said it. I would say the creator said this. Because the quote from the anime character came from its creator. The person who created that series put that quote onto the anime character. So you quote the creator, not the anime character. And that's my personal take, though. Hello there, John Knight. We're talking about anime and how I feel about it. But that is my honest opinion about anime now. Anime back then was escapism. Now, anime is just a free time leisure medium, I guess. And I really hope that people don't waste their lives with just anime. Go outside, make friends, enjoy your life as well, and have direction. And it's very hard to preach this because a lot of people will not understand where you're coming from. Especially if you're like in your teenage years, because teenagers, a lot of teenagers are angsty, but I say this because I care, I want people to do their very best. But anime alone, isn't enough at times. So go outside and make some real friends. It's easier than you think, I promise you that. Who's having a birthday today, John? Well, John can't give us a birthday every day now, guys. He has to take some time off as a break as well. But that's just my personal take, though, guys. Whew. And I hope nobody uses me as a lone basis for stuff as well. Excuse myself. Go outside and explore the world, and everything becomes much more clear. Because I really just hope that people just don't get stuck in life, man. That would really hurt. Even for me. That's why the only thing you can do is move forward. I've always moved forward anyways. I refuse to sit still at this point. But hey guys, that is my speech. So, thank you. Yeah, 皆さんありがとうございます。Muy obrigado. Yeah, that's how you said it. Yep, muy obrigado. Thank you in Portuguese, baby. Vous parlez donc français, la français, la langue de l'amour. Now I'm studying 5 languages. I study 5, but not anymore though. But yeah though guys, let's just wrap it up there for that conversation. But overall though guys, anime is anime. Enjoy it while you can, but don't die on it. Because it's just not worth it. Who's having birthday today, John? I could tell you a story about somebody who took anime way too far, but how are we? Today is Stanza character Makase Kurisu's birthday. Oh, that's cool. I love Kurisu, my waifu. She is my waifu at Steins Gate. Happy birthday to Makase Kurisu. Or Christina. If you watch the anime, you know what I mean. So how are we doing for sponsorship from YouTube? So we actually lost a bit of hours. So let me check. We need 1,800 hours now. So we lost about 100 hours. 1,800 hours until we could get a sponsorship. Oh man, what a long time to wait. But honestly though guys, sponsorships or not, I really couldn't care less. But I will keep that promise though. Okay, let me remind you guys the promise. Here's my promise that I will keep no matter what. If I ever get sponsored on this YouTube channel or any sponsorship money, I will donate 40 to 60% of my earnings to smaller creators, streamers, etc. or charities. I said it. I will keep it. That's my promise. Because I don't really want to live off YouTube. No offense. As much as I love YouTube and as much as I like you guys, and as much as I need money, at the same time though, we can't forget that this money is too frugal. So, yeah. If I ever get sponsorship, the money is going to be donated. Well, a portion of it, that is. Now, granted, there are exceptions. If things get very bad, then there are exceptions. But for the most part, though, I'm going to keep that promise. We still need 1,800 hours left of watch time before we get sponsorships on this channel, which kind of sucks, honestly. But it doesn't really bother me because at this point, I just don't really care about the numbers. I just want to create content for you guys. I just want to create content. Just screw the numbers. Screw it. We're just gonna upload whatever we want. But yeah, though, guys, serious talk though. Let's just enjoy the journey. Let's not focus on trying to get paid on YouTube, because then you're gonna lose focus on what you originally started on for. So I just started it because I just needed an outlet. Sorry guys, let me check some stuff. But that's just my personal take, guys. Now granted, I don't know how much we'll get paid. So if we get paid $1, then I guess I'll just donate the entire dollar. Today is Meliodas' birthday. Meliodas from the 7 Deadly Sins. Pretty interesting. Like, the 7 Deadly Sins is okay, I guess. I feel like where it falls flat is the ending for the 7 Deadly Sins. Because the Demon King was not that great. That final climax battle that was. I still do like the 7 Deadly Sins though. Especially the openings. The first opening for the first season was actually the one that sticks in my head the most. But that's just my personal take though. I really do wish that they will actually redo the 7 Deadly Sins, because, you know, season 3 was pretty bad. Like, no offense, okay, guys? I thought season 3 was pretty bad. Studio Dean was not fit for that studio. I mean, it was not fit for that anime. But then again, though, they should have looked at it twice, because Studio Dean did create the first Fate Stay Night, and that was pretty bad too, which came out in 2006, I believe, which honestly didn't do too well. And then they did Unlimited Blade Works in 2009, was it, or 2011, and that didn't do well. Until the actual remake of Unlimited Blade Works by Ufotable, which saved the Fate series. Like, oh man, there's a lot of red flags when it comes to studios, I tell you what. But it's funny because Studio Dean also created Konosuba, one of like the greatest isekais there is. So it went both ways. It just goes to show you that some anime studios are more better at other things than others. Studio Dean focuses more on Sakuga and like the loose animation style. But Hably Bells. Here, Hably Bell's birthday. Is that? Hold up. Is this who I think it is? It's Tababla. I think you meant it. Why is it spelled wrong, John? It's Tier Haribel or Halibel, depending on how you read the katakana. From Bleach. She's my waifu, guys. By the way, they never explain what happened to her in Bleach. She just gets captured by the Quincy's, and they never go into depth about that. It still grinds my gears. Like, I don't remember exactly what they did with her, but I just remember she got captured and tortured by the Quincy's, and that was it. Like, oh my god, just give us a proper conclusion. I'm praying to God that Bleach actually gives these characters proper conclusions, because the manga got rushed because it was forced to come to a conclusion. So Shonen Jump rushed the creator, Tite Kubo. They just forced him to hurry up and wrap things up without a proper conclusion. So that's why the ending got rushed, and that's why the ending for the manga was disappointing to Manny. And now we're all hoping that this anime, the 1,000-Year Blood War, the second half, we're all hoping that they either add more stuff into it or at least give us proper conclusions. And oh my god, that was just so infuriating to me. Oh, sorry guys, I'm going on a Bleach rant. But I love Bleach, but my god, just fix it for me, guys. Alright guys, it's approaching 4 o'clock. I gotta get going, sorry. I know this is pretty much abrupt. But, what am I saying? Allow me to clear my head. So everybody, it's approaching 4 o'clock p.m. EST, Eastern United States time. So I gotta get going. I gotta start applying for some other jobs and do some job searching. So yeah guys, without further ado, thanks for stopping by. And I really enjoyed this stream with you guys. So, I will stream again on Saturday. Maybe sometime between 2 to 4 p.m. United States Eastern Time. So stay tuned, guys. And thanks for stopping by. And yeah, until Saturday, baby. Peace.